Let's mount up.
Oh, come on! Oh, no! Oh!
Check for pulse.
You have got to be kidding me! Come on! Yeah! Welcome, mountain bike fans. How about something new for the third stop of the 2022 Crankworx World Tour? Let's make our way down to the southern hemisphere and hang out the northeastern corner of the wild continent of Australia, the tropical paradise of Cairns, Australia, where the wet tropics rainforest meet the Great Barrier Reef. We're bringing the Crankworx World Tour. It's been a while since we've added a new destination to the calendar. Seems like the right time to do so, and we have a rowdy crowd on hand here to kick off day one of broadcast competition. My name's Cam McCall. I'm going to be your host for today's festivities. We're going to keep this party rolling for the next few days. And today I'm joined in the booth by two analysts. We got Alan Cook and Charlie Murray. Alan, what's it like being down here in Australia? I know you've already been getting some time on the bike.
Yeah, man, I've already done downhill seeding runs. It's pretty awesome to be down here and riding this amazing historic track. Obviously, it's been used as a world champ 2 times before. Just that feeling of coming down to the southern hemisphere, it feels like a restart to the season. As everything's ending up north, we're down here, and I couldn't be more stoked.
You know, right at the beginning of summertime here. Charlie, you've been bouncing back and forth between hemispheres. First of all, big congratulations, getting the win there at Trophy of Nations and wasting no time to join us here in the booth. We got speed and style today, which is a little bit different than enduro. What do you make of this format?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. It's exciting to see how impressive these guys are on the jumps. That's something I don't get to see much. So, yeah, really looking forward to that. And then they're still racing, you know. They're still on the clock. So I love that part of the sport too.
Yeah, what other race format can you pick up time by getting tricks on a jump? So today's going to be really exciting. A great way to kick off stop number 3 down here in the tropical paradise of Cairns, Australia. I mean, the Great Barrier Reef, what else is there to say? You can view it from space. It's the biggest reef on the planet. And, you know, you look one direction, you got the reef. You look the other direction, you got the Daintree rainforest, which is absolutely beautiful. The longest continuously surviving rainforest on the planet. So a lot of history in this region. And we bring mountain bike history to Cairns, Australia as well, because you know some crazy stuff is going to go down when you have the stage set like we do here. The dirt is so fantastic. You can see the masterpiece on screen right now. This is the Crankworx Cairns speed and style course. Some beautiful berms out there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the shapes of this, it's truly a work of art. You can see that the crews that put in the time and the work here, I bet, you know, if this was the dirt they could have chosen to do this, it would have been exactly this.
Yeah, it looks beautiful just to look at and to ride it as well. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
So we caught up with the head course designer for this Speed and Style Cairns course, Remy Morton, earlier. We quizzed him a little bit about the process designing and building this course. Take a listen. Remy, how's it going? First of all, course looks great. Way to go. What were some of your goals when coming up with the design for the Speed and Style track?
The Speed and Style was a pretty difficult one, actually. It was kind of a tight corridor between the other courses, as you can see behind us, but kind of wanted to give it a pretty rapid area of speed and then also have difficult features in between that really separated the riders so that it was not really an even race. You had to have confidence with your line choice and speed to actually really make it through the course.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a masterpiece when you're looking up the hill. This dirt looks like it really cooperates with you. How long did it take you to build this, and how big of a crew did you have?
So the whole venue was an 8-week build. I think Speed and Style was actually it was about 2 weeks of that. So yeah, we had 4 of us on it, and we're kind of crossing back and forth from each other. 2 machines. We had a 4-tonner go through first, and then I was behind shaping in a 2.7. And yeah, put it together pretty quick, and it was a bit hard being the last course built. It was our exit corridor for all of the machinery on slope course and all of that. So we kind of had to leave it to the very end and then pump it out. And yeah, I'm super stoked with the outcome because I was definitely nervous coming into the last week.
Yeah, man, it all came together beautifully. What's it like finally seeing riders take to this course?
Pretty surreal, actually. I went away for the final week. I needed a bit of a mental break, and come back and just see it like this it's pretty special. It's like, it's cool when you build something and everyone's giving positive feedback. Like, I haven't really heard anything bad, and that's always kind of what you're after as a trail builder.
Absolutely, man. Well, job well done. I hope you can find the best seat in the house and enjoy the action. Thanks for answering the questions.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Now it's time to drop. Best corner. Ah! Oh! Yeah, so much fun.
Well, there is a great look at the course, but if you're a new viewer to Speed and Style, we got plenty to talk about. Allow me to walk you through exactly how this will work. This is very similar to a dual slalom race. We've got two courses side by side. We're going to take one run on each side. So on the second run, the riders will switch sides. So for example, if Alan and I are racing, first and foremost, you mentioned this, Charlie, it is a race. So if Alan crosses the finish line a second ahead of me, the race is the race, but we have an opportunity to tweak these times a little bit. On the jumps, you're going to be judged. If you score high, you're going to have more time shaved off of your time. So for example, if I scored 110 points, that's going to equate to 1.1 seconds taken off of my time. Once we've done that twice, and we've taken those time deductions based on those trick scores, the rider with the fastest combined time, which in this case, unfortunately for me, was Alan, is going to advance into the next bracket. We're gonna pick up action at the round of 8. We're gonna chisel it down in half every time. We're gonna go to 4, and then we're gonna start giving away some hardware. We're gonna have a gold medal matchup, then we're gonna have a bronze medal matchup. And you know, stop 3 of the season right now, we've got some evolving stories with some riders who kind of are on heaters.
Yeah, we definitely do, especially in the female category. Jordy's looking super consistent out there. You know, she's been on top of the podium more than once. You know, she's 4-time winner of this category here. So, you know, she's going to be looking to seal it up and really push it along the way. On the men's side, you know, you got to look for Baz for the speed, and then as far as style goes, anything goes. We saw some stuff in the earlier rounds. Cash rolls, double flips. I mean, these jumps are catering to the needs of these riders, and we're going to see a good competition.
With 2 trick jumps on each lane of the course, these jumps are pretty stock, pretty standard. And one great thing about this format is the judges are able to give the riders basically a menu to give them some insight into what these tricks are going to be valued at. So these riders can kind of go shopping and plan their run based on, you know, whoever they're going up against and how much, you know, in a situation like if you're going up against somebody who's much faster than you, you're going to roll the dice a little bit and try some tricks that are a little bit harder, that are going to have bigger returns. Higher scoring tricks are going to take more time off of your run, and each rider has been briefed on what these tricks are worth. And you know, just to shake things up, if you don't do a trick, you can actually have time added back on. But here's an example for the women's category of what some of these tricks are worth.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of strategy is going to come into this, right? So not only knowing of what the tricks are worth as far as a point deduction, also knowing the tricks and the capabilities of the people you're going up against, how fast they are. You can really put a lot of strategy to this. And the coolest thing about Speed and Style is it's never say die. There's always an opportunity to make up time on your competitor.
And the judges are constantly adding new tricks to this menu, if you will, to kind of bring things up to speed with this evolving sport. The riders are always pushing it. One rider who knows a ton about tricks, Nikolai Rogakin, is going to be joining us as our insider. Nikolai, what do you think it's like for these riders choosing what trick to perform in their run, and how do they make those decisions based on who they're going up against?
Oh, you know, Cam, like Alan was talking about, there's speed, there's style, but there's also strategy. These riders are able to look at a full-on menu of tricks and seeing exactly how much deduction in terms of time they're going to get for doing these tricks. So they're going to look at their opponent and they're going to strategize, what tricks do I need to do to get the time taken off needed to beat my opponent. You see the best riders strategize in smart ways. So that menu really helps for these racers to plan their competition out. So let's see how everything plays out.
Right on. Thank you, Nikolai. We're going to keep throwing things at you as we progress through our day here of brackets, and your insight is always exciting. So thanks for joining us. You know, he was talking about choosing tricks based on who you're going up against. You know, if you're in the men's category and you're going up against somebody like Bas van Steenbergen, you might be thinking, all right, I'm 1.5 seconds slower than Bas. I know this. I'm going to need to do a trick, you know, maybe 2 tricks that are worth like 70 points. You're going to start getting a little bit closer. So here's a look at our brackets for the women's category. We got Jordy Scott with a bye. And the big question is, who's going to be joining up against Jordy Scott?
Yeah, we're getting it kicked off right here. You know, Harriet's going to be looking for that spot into the advancing into the semifinals. Saw some flips earlier. These women are really pushing it, not only on the speed, but definitely on the style too. We've been seeing new tricks out of them almost every single stop.
So we're looking forward to that bracket. Martha Gill and Harriet Burbidge-Smith. One of them will meet up with the #1 qualifier, Jordy Scott, who's been on a tear. I mean, she's been really racking up the points for the Queen of Crankworx overall, and she's definitely been using the speed and style discipline to do so.
Yeah, at the moment she's studying biology, so she's doing it all while, you know, at university. It's quite impressive.
We talk about how many disciplines there are on the Crankworx World Tour and how challenging it is to balance all the different disciplines. Well, she's competing in all these disciplines, but also going to school, like you say, a lot on her plate.
So yeah, Martha's pretty strong on the pedals. She's a good enduro racer, so it's gonna be interesting to see if she can make up a little bit of speed on Harriet.
Well, we're into racing action here. Martha Gill going up against Harriet Burbidge-Smith.
This is your 4th and 5th qualifiers. This is going to be a tight race. Martha maybe with a slight advantage, and then Harriet getting a little, maybe a wheel in front of her. Harriet with a perfect backy.
Nice.
Oh, she landed a little bit deep there, but they're pretty much neck and neck at the moment. Coming off the rock drop now. Harriet's looking really strong up on the bank.
Coming in off the wave into the final jump. Let's see what Harriet's got. Big tuck no-hander. And that's going to be a straight jump out of Martha.
Strong performance there out of Haz, crossing the finish line first. Plus, she's going to have those time deductions from the backflip on jump #1 and the tuck no-hander on jump #2. So she will be looking pretty good when we get them back to the top of the course to switch sides and do it all over again.
A lot of these riders traveling from far distances, you know, you can only bring so many bikes. You can see Martha there on a little bit higher travel, maybe more of a small suspension trail bike, and then has there on a full-on slope style bike. So that's gonna add a little bit of advantage. How does that help in the racing, Charlie?
Yeah, well, I think like this is quite a smooth course, so you're probably all right on a slope bike and or even a hardtail, you know. But you gotta pump and carry speed. So with an enduro bike, you lose a bit of that ability to pump.
Well, we saw that format play out right there. We pretty much can use this as an example to explain all the scenarios. We saw a dead sailor, which is a non-trick on the last jump there for Martha Gill. 0.3 of a second was added to her time. We saw a score of 100 and a score of 84 for Haz's tricks. So 1.84 seconds were taken off of her time. So the lead looking pretty good for Harriet.
There's definitely a lot of strategy going into this. You could see Harriet there on that final jump. She did do that tuck no-hander, but I also saw her squeeze in a little invert too. So that's a combo, and that's going to add up to more time taken off. So, you know, they're looking at that shopping list. They know what they're getting points for.
So we're picking up men's action here in the round of 8. But how did we get here? Let's take a look at round of 16 highlights. So Garrett Meacham, the #1 qualifier from yesterday's seeding runs, also won the whip-off yesterday. So a great day for Garrett Meacham yesterday. 360 bar spin to X up on jump #1 here in this matchup against Dan Butterworth. Meacham crossing the line first, getting a lot of points, and then it was Bas van Steenbergen against Miguel Guerrero.
Yeah, Baz, you know he's going to be fast, also working in those combos, but a few bigger tricks coming out behind him from Miguel, but wasn't quite enough to take down the defending king.
We will see Baz going up against Luke Parker in this round of 8, but this heat between Jaden Fleming and Anthony Mazzari, great to see Anthony on tour.
Yeah, Anthony with a huge tuck no-handed front flip, almost hopping over the beam there. He was so stoked to be here. This course has these riders really hyped up.
Anthony Mazzari, the number 3 qualifier, so great to see him back and doing so well. But Mike Ross out of Australia, known for that cash roll, doing it here in speed and style.
Okay, this is a perfect explanation. A cash roll and a double backflip is worth 2.53 seconds off your time. That's how he's able to make up that differential as you see Jackson crossing quite a ways in front of him.
This is kind of a classic battle here between a rider who's a pure racer and a rider who's a pure trick machine, Mike Ross. Mike Ross making it out into the round of 8.
Yeah, you can really see how much the tricks pay off. You've got to be doing tricks to be able to, you know, be winning these rounds.
You got to be fast enough to stay close, though. Yeah, it's been so many years of modifying this format. I think we're at a really great place where if you aren't fast enough, you can have the best tricks in the world, but you're not making it into the next round. So that's how we found ourselves with the field shaved down to 8. What are some of the matchups that are looking exciting for you guys? How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Matt Begg. He's a rider from New Zealand and he's super creative and he actually built some of this course here. So seeing him up against Lemoyne is going to be a good matchup for me.
Yeah, the 7th qualifier, Matt Begg, going up against the number 2 qualifier, Lemoyne. Lemoyne is on fire this season. He won the first 2 stops, so expect to see him go far here. And then Garrett Meacham, what do you make of that, Alan? Number 1 qualifier.
Yeah, I think, you know, just making a late season push, trying to get his name out there and really, you know, doing that last night in the whip-off and obviously yesterday qualifying first. I know he's got a deep bag of tricks. He's super fast and smooth. You know, I think he's definitely a contender for tonight.
Well, then Anthony Mazzari and Mike Ross. That one's going, we're going to see a lot of tricks in that one.
Yeah, a lot of deductions going on that run. I'm looking forward to it. That's the other thing that's so impressive with these guys out here is not only are they doing like some of the hardest tricks in slopestyle, but they're doing it and landing with perfection and on the pedals before they're even off the landing, which usually it's like you're trying to figure out where to throw the fist pump in because you actually pulled it.
Yeah, no, they're trying to carry speed out of the jumps, which usually you're just trying to land the jump.
Yeah, it brings a whole nother element too. I mean, racing into a jump at race speed, and sometimes these riders are going to have to scrub speed to have the appropriate speed for the trick they're choosing. Right now, we've got the cadence started for Garrett Meacham on the left side of your screen, going up against the Italian rider who's spending time in BC, Daniel Ferry.
Garrett with a nice snap out of the gate. You can tell he's been out at the BMX track. Let's see what he's got. Big dip, truck to X up on the first jump. Got a little bit of a lead.
Coming into this rock feature now, they just glide over it. Oh, see, you've even got the back wheel manual down there to generate a little bit more speed. Cranking the pedals.
Big bar spin flip to can for Garrett. Really tight there at the line, so it's going to come down to who did what on the tricks.
I mean, such similar tricks for both riders here. We had what looked like a truck to X for both riders on jump number 1. And then the subtleties, you know, Garrett Meacham's been around for a bit. He's becoming a little bit more of a veteran rider. He's got that number 1 next to his name based on seeding results, but he squeezes that one-footed can into the backflip bar spin variation, which is going to really pay off once we see these scores coming in.
He's also from Santa Cruz County, which couldn't hurt anything.
126 points there for Daniel Ferry on jump number 1. He must have squeezed something extra in that truck to X, or they just liked his execution better than the truck to X from Lil Rojo there. 117 points for him on jump number 1.
For this speed and style discipline, it's one thing to call one rider coming down, throwing the bars 1, 2, 3, 4 times.
So the judges are going to take their time here. We've got truck to X for both riders. Tough to see Garrett's. Here we go. This angle's going to help, Alan. All right, left side of your screen, we're looking for the trick from Garrett Meacham. Oh, was it a 360 X up without the bar spin for Garrett? Was it?
I think you might be right. It's all happening so fast there, so that must be that little bit of points differentiation.
Yeah, it looks like that would explain the 126 and the 117 there. Daniel getting the 360 bar spin to X up.
Oh, was it?
I wish we could ask Garrett a question. What trick did you do on jump number 1?
I had 3X, he had 3 dubs.
Okay.
Or flip dubs.
A keen eye, Cam, a keen eye.
Over the jumps, I like they've chatted about it. 3 double and a 3X.
So actually, Daniel pulling out with that.
So we're looking for scores for the second jump too. I feel like Garrett's going to get an advantage on that one. If I remember correctly, he snuck a backflip bar spin to one-footed can-can. But yeah, heats like this where both riders have big combos and both riders are crossing the finish line tight. That's what Speed and Style is all about as we take a little preview of our next heat. Loading up into the gate. This is going to be Australia's Luke Parker against Canada's Bas van Steenbergen, the 4th and 5th qualifiers. Van Steenbergen, 4th qualifier, Luke Parker, number 5. Bas, you know, he's got to be that much faster, doesn't he, in a heat like this?
Yeah, we see him in dual slalom all the time, just, you know, up on the podium, and he's such a quick racer, so he's going to have an advantage on the speed for sure.
Luke Parker has a lot of tricks. Bas van Steenbergen does not, but Bas, there's a reason he's the reigning king of Crankworx, and he's right there in second place in the overall standings. He is fast, and he has just enough tricks to get by here in Speed and Style. What will the story be?
So gate drops down. It looks like Baz gets the snap. Let's see what Luke's got. Luke riding a little bit more traditional jump like with a flip bar spin.
Bas is already at least a turn ahead. He's just absolutely leaning into those corners.
Yeah, Baz's speed is unreal. Here they come to the finish. One-footed X up to Knack Knack.
Oh, yes.
Against a double tail whip.
That was
A little
awesome.
bit loose on the pedals, but getting across the line clean.
Smart for Luke Parker there. I mean, this is where the improvisational factor comes into play. Nikolai, are you with us? I'm wondering, do you think by paying attention to how far behind Bas Luke was is why he decided to go for a double tail instead of a single?
Honestly, Luke has his double whips on lock. I think that's the only double tail whip I've ever seen him slip pedals on right there. I think it's a little windy, so Luke is just on it. He's got the double tail whip on lock, and I think he knows he needed that against Bas. So, yeah, unfortunately, a little pedal slip, so it's going to be a little less than the menu score, but it's still going to be significant for making up some time against Bas.
Nikolai, you've been riding so much on the slopestyle during practice the last couple days. What's the prevailing wind direction? Is this a crosswind down here for this final trick jump?
It's a little bit of a brutal crosswind for the final jump. It comes in gusts sometimes. Yeah, you can see the bike get caught up a little bit. Recovery, saved it there, no crash. But yeah, the wind down here comes and goes.
Right on, thanks Nikolai. So, great performance out of Luke Parker there. You know, when your pedals slip and you still got to get a couple cranks in to cross that finish line, it's impressive to be able to not only not crash with that crosswind, but be able to get back on the pedals after slipping and try to squeeze as much speed as you can out of that final straightaway.
The amount of aggression and speed that Baz was getting out of the course, I feel like, you know, in Supercross when they have to detune the 450s because they're too powerful, I feel like he's going to have to like figure out where to push and where to hold back because his speed is unbelievable.
We see dirt flying off his back tire when he's pedaling around flat corners.
Yeah, he's just on the gas the whole way down, and he's even scrubbing the jumps to try and generate more speed.
Yeah, it could really mess up your score if you scrub the jump and forget to take a foot off or make an X up. So Bas finding a nice balance between staying low, scrubbing those jumps, but squeezing a trick in so you don't have time added on. All right, this heat is going to be full of tricks. We've got Anthony Mazzeri, your number 3 qualifier, going up against Mike Ross, number 6 qualifier. We saw some highlights from Mike Ross from the round of 16, choosing some huge tricks for his run of cash roll on jump number 1, a double flip down at the bottom. And if he's going up against the number 3 qualifier, expect him to pull out all the stops.
Yeah, we know Mike's got some big tricks, but we know Anthony does too. Pretty much an identical gate, maybe Anthony a slight bit ahead. Let's see what they got coming into this first big jump. Big cash roll out of Mike Ross, so he's consistent with that hit.
Oh, he's a little bit behind after coming out of that landing. He was a bit sideways, but he's going to try and work hard to catch up on this bottom part here.
Yeah, he's hitting the big wave coming in. Let's see what Anthony's got. Big front flip no-hander to a double backflip.
Oh, man.
Backflip and a half. That was a big compression on his butt. That's one of those things. So he didn't necessarily just over-rotate. You see that mark on the jump? A lot of that over-rotation was caused because of how far he was over-jumping. Once you're spinning, things are happening so fast. And, you know, that's one of the things. It's speed and style, and he was definitely going for the most speed he could possibly get and just overcooked that one a little bit.
I mean, he was pedaling right up until the ramp, so that probably, you know, might not have been doing that in practice or in the round of 16.
It can be so hard to reel her back. At the end of the day, you're in the middle of a race run, you know, and to try to balance the right speed you need for the jump versus just all the impulses that your mind gives you when you see that you're behind on the race or you want to extend your own lead. That's one of the most challenging parts mentally about speed and style.
Oh, it's good to see him. Good to see him up.
Mike Ross definitely battling some injuries recently, hasn't he?
Oh, it looked like he really got the wind knocked out of him there. You can see his mark down the landing there.
Yeah, that's a big impact, but seeing him up and moving and pedaling, that's a good sign. Not sure if we'll see him back for the next run, but it's good to see him up and moving around.
Well, take a look back at the replays. Flawless cash roll there. Alan, explain what a cash roll is. That's a word we use for this trick. There's a lot going on.
You know, what is a cash roll? You're spinning a flip and you're spinning a 360 all at the same time off axis. It's just flying around. And then there you see that big impact. So you notice his back tire never actually hit the ground, and he's pretty much at the bottom of the jump. So yeah, he was going big on that one.
Yeah, front tire never touching the ground. All that impact going a little bit to the rear tire, but mostly to the body. So what a gladiator there, Mike Ross popping up. Definitely taking inventory on the body right now. Using that to decide whether or not he'll make his way to the top of the course. With Anthony Mazzeri, obviously with the advantage. You see the wrist brace there, Mike Ross. He's coming off of another injury. This guy's been charging all season. Pretty revolutionary move earlier this season, landing the cash roll off a flat drop. First rider to do so. But take a look at the top of the course right now. We have the man, the only man who has won a speed and style event on the Crankworx World Tour this 2022 season. And what a season it has been for this man. This was the gap heard around the world at Joyride.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I was so stoked to be there with you, Cam. We had such a good seat for it. There was him having a little crash on it in practice, just building the hype, letting the excitement simmer. And then, of course, he went for it when it came down to his run.
Well, talk about being a gladiator. His hand was very, very sore. You see the blood in his hand right there. In this interview, catching up with Mikey Hatterer, he was saying, my hand's probably not going to be good tomorrow, but it'll probably be good enough to take my 2 runs. So that crash was in practice. This was in his final run. Talk about a viral video. I watched his Instagram profile climb about 15,000 followers in the days following 2022 Joyride, which, man, seems like just yesterday. What a busy summer it has been. So he hadn't been riding too much since then. We got him back on course right now. Thomas Lemoyne in the gate against Matt Begg. Lemoyne, qualifier number 2, Begg, number 7.
Yeah, this is going to be a good run. Begg always stoked, that infectious personality. Going up against Thomas Lemoyne, no stranger to winning this. So a couple of composing tricks there.
Yeah, slight advantage to Lemoyne, but Matt Begg's just styling through the course there.
Yeah, both riders coming down. You can see Lemoyne's got quite an advantage. Big 360 tuck no-hander, 360 flatty one-hander out of Begg, just looking super good.
Yeah, great lazy style there out of Begg. Great performance. But Lemoyne, I mean, the fact that we know he hasn't been riding a ton between Crankworx Whistler and Crankworx Cairns, you would never know it by watching him ride his bike right now.
Yeah, he's looking super comfortable. It's probably one of the best events for him to come back to. You know, I think it was back in Innsbruck we were talking to him, and he was talking about wanting to have fun and wanting to keep riding fun, and he was looking forward to speed and style, that he has a lot of fun out here on this event. So if you're having fun, you're feeling good, that's a good one for Lemoyne to come back to. You can see there, bar spin to X-up backflip.
It does look like a lot of fun. I mean, all the riders come down at the bottom with a huge smile or a holler.
What a rush, too, in this format with so much going on. So great extension on that 360 tuck no-hander. I think I saw that scoring 98 there. Lemoyne, great riding for you out there. You're looking awesome. Number 2 qualifier. How has things been going since Whistler? Have you been riding a lot, or you've been kind of recovery mode?
I've been in a big recovery mode, to be honest. I'm still feeling some pain in my hand from the crash in practice, from the gap. I feel way better though, so I'm just happy I can be here, right with the boys and discover this place. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you're looking great, man. What's the aftermath been like after that big old gap at Joyride that the whole world was talking about?
It didn't affect me much more than that. I was just happy I could do it, realize my dream, and I don't know. I keep staying focused. The season is not done, so we'll see after the end of it.
Well, it's great to bring that Thomas Lemoyne energy down here to Cairns. Thanks for showing up. Best of luck with the rest of the racing today.
Thanks, man.
Right on, Thomas Lemoyne. You would never know that he's been in recovery mode. Look how on fire he looks.
Yeah, he's looking super confident out here, smooth, got those big tricks down. It's good to hear that his hand's feeling better. You know, like I was saying before, coming back to an event that you're comfortable in, you know, you've swept the season so far, you know. It's a good one to come back to and have that confidence, especially winning that first run.
Yeah, well, who knows? If things go Lemoyne's way, we may be catching up with him again at the end of the race if he continues this win streak. The win streak started, you know, in Innsbruck, taking the gold there, and then the gold in speed and style in Whistler, and now sitting second place qualifier. I mean, Garrett Meacham, the #1 qualifier. Will we see them on a collision course at opposite ends of these brackets here? Only time will tell. Right now it's time to focus our attention back to the women's category. We got run #2 for Harriet Burbage-Smith, and Martha Gill has leading the charge right now, having an advantage of 2.8.
Yeah, 2.8 is going to be a pretty big deficit for Martha to pick up, but you know she's no slouch. She's going to push it and go all the way to the finish. Another perfect backflip out of Harriet.
Yeah, they're neck and neck, but Martha needs to be way in front if she wants to make up that 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, I always try to figure out like if there's a faster course, and you know I think maybe towards the bottom, the black side might be just a hair faster. They're getting a little more speed off that last big berm towards the finish line.
So Martha's just in front, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, it's not quite going to be enough there.
Has playing it smart there, knowing the times, huh, Charlie?
Yeah. You can see Martha lost lost 30 points on that second jump.
But most likely we're going to see Harriet Burbage-Smith moving on into the
It's great to have Martha Gill out here. It'll be the end of her speed and style experience here in Cairns as Haz will advance into the into the semifinals. The big.
Yeah, her backflips are just on lock. They're looking perfect.
Yeah, she's getting more and more confident for sure. I feel like each event we see her doing them at, it's on a bigger jump. So that confidence is definitely building. And, you know, we're still in a little bit of early rounds. She's flexing right there, but maybe it's not too late to say that we might see some flip combos.
Yeah. You know what's going to be cool is watching Haz go up against Jordy. We're going to see a lot of flips in that matchup, and their 2 runs, I would imagine. And the winner of that will face off against the winner of Via Verbeek and Caroline Buchanan. This will be fun to see these semifinals here. We haven't seen much from Via and Caroline yet. They secured their spots into the semifinals based on their qualifying results. So it'll be fun to have them on screen. Great to see Caroline on our rider list after, I don't know, we talk about these viral moments in this internet age we live in right now. I'm sure everybody has seen that crazy crash she had at District Ride.
Yeah, that was a big slam. It was good to hear that she got up, and I was even more stoked to see her on the roster for today's race. So definitely welcome back in Stoke. She's all good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she must have been putting in a lot of work recovering and physio, because that was a huge slam.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fact that she's here says a lot about how much she dedicates herself and prepares herself for events. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, training is what's going to get you to make you to be able to get back up off the ground.
Yeah.
A lot of these freestyle athletes back in my day, you know, it used to be a little bit more about the partying and a little bit more about that, but now you have to be on it physically to be able to get up from the type of stuff these guys are doing.
I mean, you got to imagine she's thinking, what? Crankworx is coming to Australia. I can't miss that. It's my home country. And, of course, all the other riders on the tour loving this opportunity to make their way down to Australia. A couple riders in particular who are making the most out of their time here, Max Fredrickson and Lucas Hooper. Let's take a look at how they've been spending their downtime here in Cairns.
This is an inflatable crocodile. Not very lively. But this is a real croc in Cairns, Australia.
We're at Hartley's Crocodile Adventure. We just did a crocodile feeding and a bit of a tour through a lagoon. Definitely quite surreal.
First time in Australia. First time seeing a crocodile in real life. It's crazy.
Like, I'm from Sweden, like you don't see stuff like that there.
They were so fast and snappy.
Even though we were behind like glass and like fence and stuff, it was still like, whoa, every time they ate something.
She's like, give me more!
We ate breakfast with a koala. And we went kangaroo petting, which was pretty funny. Full Aussie experience.
Like, everything was amazing. Really, really good experience so far.
I mean, why not, right? When in Rome, hang out with a kangaroo, check out some crocodiles. If you weren't able to join us here in person in Cairns, hopefully you're going to be joining us for all the broadcasts. Today, it's all about speed and style, but tomorrow, we're taking to that same downhill course that the 1996 and 2017 UCI Downhill World Champs took place on. We're going to have slope style on Saturday, pump track as well. Dual slalom coming up. We had whip off yesterday. It wasn't a broadcasted competition, but it's always a great way to get the blood flowing. Let's take a look at some highlights from last night's whip off, where we saw plenty of whips. We also saw plenty of tricks. Whip off is all about good times, putting on a show for the crowd. Garrett Meacham put on a pretty good show.
Yeah, he sure did, taking that top spot. He was a late entrant. He only took a few runs, but he definitely sent it. He said he scared himself, so I knew it was going to be a good run.
Jordy Scott taking the win in the whip off for the women, and Garrett Meacham grabbing the win and, you know, giving us a nice little start to our shoey count for the week there. You know, we see somebody on the podium with champagne in Australia. Another win in Rome moment there when Garrett filled his shoe up with champagne and got this event kicked off on the right foot. Okay, anyways. Back to action here. Daniel Ferry. Really tight matchup here between him and Garrett Meacham. Anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, Garrett's going to have to make up a little bit of time if he wants to keep that first place qualifying up. Stepping it up, matching trick for trick. Got a little bit of a lead here.
Yeah, he's just edging ahead now, carrying a little bit more speed through that section.
They come down into the event village.
Let's see what they got down in the Showtime booter. Bar spin, backflip to can-can versus a backflip bar spin.
Backflip double bar spin there for Daniel Ferry. So squeezing that extra bar spin in could really help considering how tight the matchup was.
It's going to be interesting to see how these tricks add up because he's got a second to play with. Or just less than a second, I guess, because the last one he was slightly behind.
Well, great defense there for Garrett Meacham, scoring a 126 on jump number 1, a 117 on jump number 2. Waiting for that jump number 2 score for Daniel Ferry because that will be the determining factor there. You know, in a situation like this, if Garrett didn't have a good trick, things might get close, but I think the defense was played nicely there.
And he was not hanging around on that course. He came here to throw down a heater on run 2.
Taking it back.
Here we'll get a little bit of a...
So here we go, jump 2. There's that flip bar spin to can-can out of Garrett. Boom, perfectly executed. And then we got a bar to bar.
Double bar spin.
So it is going to get close. Can he out-trick the speed of Garrett Meacham?
He's got to be about 90 points ahead, doesn't he?
I don't think the difference between a one-footed can and a bar spin is going to do it.
So it just goes through.
That's a great example of speed and style right there. Like if Garrett did not squeeze in all the variations, things could have got really tight.
Yeah, and he stepped up that first jump up top, which they did get a very similar score. I think it might have even been the same score. So he's definitely playing the strategy game.
Bass Van Steenbergen, 0.2 ahead of Luke Parker. Bass is going to have to continue to do what Bass does best. And Luke might have to dig deep into that bag of tricks.
Baz with the extreme power out of the gate, launching straight out to a 3 bike length lead. Nice flip bar spin out of Luke, though.
Baz is just pedaling everywhere. It's amazing. You see places where no one else is pedaling, and he's just sneaking in little cranks. Look at him. Those pistons just pumping.
Clean this time.
Oh, Parker had some big amplitude on that one.
Yeah, huge double whip straight back on the pedals, keeping his feet from slipping off like they did in run 1. So that's going to be a perfect score off of that double whip.
So that's a really good point. I mean, we talked about that trick menu there, where there is a baseline score for all these tricks already predetermined, but there's also some wiggle room for execution. So his backflip bar spin was absolutely perfect, but the bottom jump, that double tail whip, he's gonna score higher on it this time than he did in run number 1 because A, he got those feet right to the pedals, and B, like you mentioned, Charlie, there's some amplitude there. He boosted.
Yeah, compared to Bass, who was kind of squashing the jump, he really popped and went high. He's got a lot to make up, though.
Oh man! It was only 0.04 of a second after everything was calculated in. You know what? If he slipped that pedal, he would not have made it out.
Yeah, I think he laid it all down on the line on that final jump. He did go huge, and it was a perfect execution.
Nikolai, what do you make of that? What we just saw, pretty crazy to see the difference that stomping those pedals made. I mean, that's the factor that's putting Luke Parker through, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Luke came through clutch, landing that double whip so clean. He knew he needed to land it clean, but I know Luke has that trick on lock, so stoked to see him come through with it. I know Luke's got some crazier tricks in the bag. I thought he might have chose something like a cork 7, which I've seen him do in the past because of the wind situation, but he was determined to get the double whip clean. He went huge, and he absolutely stomps it, so stoked to see what Luke's got, and he's moving on to the next one. The tricks paid off for him.
Such a dice roll. One more question, Nikolai. The difference between doing something like a double tail up and a cork 720, are you way more vulnerable in a double tail up?
Yeah, I mean, with the double tail whip, you're bringing your legs off the bike, you're rotating your bike 2 times, and then trying to get back on. The wind down here is gusting hard, whereas something like a cork 7, which I've seen Luke do, you're kind of safe from the wind. Not fully safe, but the wind can't really get you because you're rotating so hard. So it was the right decision there for Luke. So let's see what tricks he's got for the rest of this this race. So
Good stuff, Nikolai. Thanks a lot. That is true what Nikolai just mentioned right there is they do ramp it up as we get going. You know, the stakes get higher and higher the closer these riders get to medal territory, and you see the dice roll factor increase a bit.
Yeah, so you think they're going to be pulling out some bigger tricks as we continue towards the final?
It typically is what we see, you know, like a guy like Anthony Missouri, who comes from such a strong slopestyle background, you know, standing on podiums of Crankworx slopestyle events, there's some deep pockets to dig through and a lot of choices. Right now, Anthony's sitting with a great advantage over Mike Ross. Amazing to see Mike back up there in the gate.
Yeah, so stoked to see that. That was a hard hit he took on that first run, but he's definitely laying it down. He's not going to just give this up to him. We got Crankworx in his home country. Big, huge cashy, straight back on the pedals.
Yeah, Anthony's just ahead here, but Mike must be hurting after that because that was such a big slam before.
Big question is, will he go back for some redemption? Let's see what he's got. Playing it smart, just a tire grab out of there. Was that a no-handed front flip out of Anthony?
And he popped so high and he rotated so slow. Look, he lost his visor.
He must have bumped it on the front tire when he popped off for that front flip.
Hey, look, he's biting your steez, Nikolai.
Just keep the visor off, Tones. Way faster.
Oh, middle of the second jump.
He didn't even know. Run it, man.
Well, it'd be cool to see where that comes off.
No visor, Tones. It's faster, bro. Love it.
Oh, man. Ask Sean Palmer about how
the visor breaker.
He just tucks right into the front wheel, doesn't he?
Aerodynamics matter in Cairns, right? We could throw it all the way back to 96 world champs.
Absolutely.
Now you guys see why I don't wear a visor.
No, that looks pretty dangerous. You don't want to get that stuck in the front wheel.
Thank you.
Nikolai, maybe you always start out with a visor, but you do so many front flip variations, that thing just only lasts one front flip no-hander.
Exactly. Front flip, any front flip move is destructive for the visor. Destroyed so many when I was younger.
I got a couple helmets from back when I used to do front flip Supermans that have tire marks on the top of the helmet, because that's how I would get the bike back under. I keep those around. Those are good little mementos. So scores coming in here. First of all, just great to see Mike Ross back on the bike after that crazy double flip crashed. You know, we're surprised to see him on the bike, but then he throws a cast roll. What a gladiator this guy is.
Yeah, he's gonna have to sit on a bag of ice maybe for the next day or so. Let that tush heal up. But yeah, pretty brave performance coming back out after that slam. You know, Crankworx is in his home country. He's not gonna pass up the experience for even one run, I bet.
He's such a sender, man.
He must have been hurting getting back up there, but props to him. Full credit. So yeah, Matt Begg, who's lining up here against Lemoyne, he actually built this course. He's part of the Flux crew, and we talked to Remy earlier, but yeah, Matt, he loves building stuff that he's gonna ride, so he's creative like that, and also creative on the bike.
Yeah, it's been sick to watch him in all the sessions that the slopestyle guys have been practicing. But right now, it's all about Thomas Lemoyne snapping out of that gate, keeping this speed and style win streak going.
Yeah, Thomas Lemoyne's carrying good speed. He just has the gate pop, and he's pumping through all this section here.
You see Matt gapping straight in there, and he's going to have a little more speed coming off that top, so they're going to get pretty close here.
Oh.
Both riders sprinting to the line. That was a close run.
Yeah, Matt gained a lot in that second half there.
Yeah, it seems like when riders go even maybe a little bit exaggerated high above the flag on that wall, that they're getting so much more momentum because they're coming in from higher up, that by the time they get to the jump, they're catching up.
Yeah, it carries through that speed all the way until the finish line, really.
Yeah.
So Lemoyne carries that momentum from run number 1. Big picture carrying the momentum from the entire season here, the Unstoppable Force 2022 when it comes to speed and style. He will meet up with Anthony Mazzeri in the round of 4. Look back at some of these tricks on jump number 1.
Bar spin flip out of Lemoyne, big dipped can 3 out of Begg.
Ah, look at that little improv. You know, smart preservation of energy / a little bit of improv there as Lemoyne missed the no-hander.
Oh, beauty.
So Lemoyne making it through, backing up that number 2 qualifying result. Matt Begg, good showing.
Yeah, definitely out here repping for the boys. Awesome to be able to be out here and be a part of this amazing build, and then to be able to ride and compete on the world stage is so cool.
Yeah, he's probably loving being able to go riding with all the boys that have shown up. He's probably been riding here for a week.
So here we are, we got the brackets, set it up in the semifinals.
Garrett Meacham, the number 1 qualifier, going up against Luke Parker. And this is the moment we've kind of been talking about where things really heat up. These riders in the semifinals, they know they're either going for an opportunity at a gold or a silver, or an opportunity for a bronze, or they're going to walk away with nothing if you make it into the bronze medal matchup, but do not take the W. So Mazzeri and Lemoyne, a couple riders that used to rub elbows, competing side by side. The top of slopestyle courses, pushing themselves to the limit where tricks are the only things that matter. But speed and style is a great platform for these riders who are fast to get some more points for that big picture, which is the king and queen of Crankworx overall titles. How do you win the crown? Well, first of all, if it's a 4-stop tour like we have in 2022, you want to compete in as many disciplines as possible because points are up for grabs in all these disciplines. You got to be a well-versed rider. Of course, you can compete in your discipline that you specialize in, but to win the king or queen of Crankworx overall title like Bas van Steenbergen did last season, you got to step out of your comfort zone. For Bas, that means doing things like knack-knacks and one-footed X-ups from Via Verbeek. It means spreading her wings and competing in speed and style as well as downhill. We got a couple riders making a run for that title, trying to knock the king and queen out of their thrones. Thomas Lemoyne leading the charge for the men. Jordy Scott leading the charge for the women. We got Jordy in the gate right now. Charlie, Jordy's pretty tough to beat in speed and style. She's got some impressive stats in this discipline, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, she's won 4 events in the past, and the women's speed and style hasn't been around that long, so that's really impressive. She's won more than any other girl. And yeah, to see her against Harriet, I'm really interested because I know Harriet's got those backies on lock, and Geordie too, so we'll see what happens.
That's exactly the story here. You know, we saw Geordie Scott using those backflips to take that win, but you see Haz pursuing so much in the world of freeride now as well. So smooth with those backflips. Will we see both of them flipping in this run? Will we see both of them flipping both jumps? We're about to find out.
So Haz sticks to the backflip. Looks like maybe it was a tire grab out of Geordie, straight back on the pedals. Huge gap into that section.
Yeah, Geordie's just in front here, but we'll see how Harriet comes off the bank. She carries a bit more speed.
She catches up a little bit.
Whoa! Oh, going quite deep there.
Yeah, Geordie going real deep, just gets her on time.
Geordie Scott.
So close.
So these riders are becoming more and more matched up as the season goes on. These races are getting tighter and tighter. This is our number 1 and our number 4 qualifiers. So, you know, this late in the stages in the brackets,
so it looks like
it's like a final almost the whole time.
Yeah.
So take a look at the left side of your screen right now. Geordie Scott just posted the fastest time of the day. Tough strategy out there. If you know that you're not going to be flipping in a run against somebody who is flipping, you saw how that shook down there. It was an 80 for Geordie Scott on jump number 1, a 100 for Haz. But you know what? Geordie leaning on the fact that she can cross the finish line faster.
Yeah, solid tuck no-hander out of Geordie versus Haz's backflip, looking clean for both of them. And then you see Haz, she catches up just a little bit there, and then Geordie sends it all the way to the flat bottom and pedals across the line and gets a slight time advantage.
They're nervously waiting.
So the backflip paying off there for Harriet. She will take the advantage into run number 2 in this semi-final matchup. Back up to the top of the course here. It looks like Via Verbeek on the left side of your screen. Caroline Buchanan on the right side of your screen. The first time we've seen these two, they were fast enough in seeding to the point where they had a bye in the round of 8. So straight into the semifinals here for Caroline and Via. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Let's take a look at this crazy crash from District Ride. This was not that long ago.
Oh. No, this was not that long ago, and to have her back in the gate right now is awesome. It's great for her, but it's also great for us as fans, because these matchups between Caroline and Via are some of the best that we get to see in this speed and style competition.
So we know how Caroline Buchanan has spent the last 3.5 weeks since that crash, just rehabbing that shoulder after tearing some ligaments. Great to see her back here on home turf, going up against Via Verbeek. Caroline, the number 2 qualifier, Via number 3. This is going to be tight.
So both riders getting a good start. Let's see what they got over the jumps.
Oh,
couple
why
of
not?
tough no-handers, maybe 2 out of Caroline. Caroline on a little bit more of a dirt jump style bike. Via with some suspension. Bring him in, Charlie. Bring him in.
Yeah, Via's just ahead here coming off that bank, but that right-hand side's a little bit quicker. And another no-hander.
So you see the combos coming out over the jumps, and the points just getting racked up.
So was that 2 no-handers from Caroline on the first one?
I think it was a double tuck, and I think I saw another combo out of Via there at the finish line. I think it might have been a tuck no-hander to toboggan.
That was an exciting run.
So smart. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to get points out there. That's a creative way. Nikolai, what do you make of this, which we're going to see on screen right now, going for the double tuck no-hander out of Caroline?
I honestly think it's a really smart move from Caroline. We saw in Whistler, she flipped in her first speed and style race, nose case, ended her day, big crash. So today, I guess she's coming off the injury. She wasn't willing to take the backflip risk. So instead, she does 2 different tuck no-hander combos, because if you repeat, it's less points. So very smart and strategic from Caroline. And honestly, a very solid showing from Via as well. She's looking good out there. So nice work Nice work, girls. But the strategy from Caroline without the flip risk is a good one. Let's see if she brings the flip out, though. Let's see if she's going to need it today.
Yeah, perfect. Good point, Nikolai. Thanks for that. It will be interesting to see when she decides to unveil.
How's that custom helmet? That's really cool.
So there we see
the donut style.
It's making me hungry, to be honest.
Yeah. Homer Simpson.
Overall.
So there we go. Really tight differential there between Caroline Buchanan, the leader of this heat, via just about a quarter of a second behind after the trick scores were factored in.
So yeah, those combos are paying off because she was slightly behind coming across the line.
Nikolai never short of words of wisdom. Let's take a look back at one of his quotes from earlier on in the season. A wise man, Nikolai Rogatkin, once said,
"Flip it! Flip it!
Flip it!" Nikolai always cheering on the riders, not only when he's joining us here as the insider, but you see it's always the case in slopestyle. He's up at the top of the course, cheering on his competitors, wanting everybody to stomp their run. One of the best parts about having Nikolai there as our insiders, he freaks out, and we can hear him in the booth here, one floor below us, just loving all the action out here, cheering on the riders. Flip it! Back to the top, what do we have? Who do we have loading up into the gate? It's probably going to be Garrett Meacham and Luke Parker. Yep, there they are. Garrett Meacham, #1 qualifier. Luke Parker, #5 qualifier. Garrett carrying all of that momentum from a big day on the hill yesterday, winning the whip-off, seating #1 in speed and style. He's been backing up that performance all day.
Yeah, he's been unstoppable here in Cairns so far.
Well, you know what they say, go big or go home, and he lives nowhere near here.
Going home's not an option. Better go big.
So we got the cadence on, gates down. Both riders with a clean start. They're going to bring it to the jumps. Let's see what they got.
Right.
Ooh. Oh, a little hard to tell. I can't tell if those bars are spinning or doing double X-ups, but we definitely have combos.
They're close.
Super tight racing.
Looks like Parker might get a bit more speed coming off the bank.
It's catching up.
Into the back one, backflip, double bar, and a double tail whip.
Like a flip double bar for Lil Rojo, Garrett Meacham, and that double tail whip that has been serving him well there for Luke Parker.
Yeah, Luke's got it on lock now. After that first one, he's been perfect.
He's taken a lot of speed into that last jump, and he's translating that into amplitude on the jump. I feel like that's smart because he's kind of catching up in that straightaway into the final jump.
Yeah, and coming out of the jump too.
So it was a backflip bar spin for Luke Parker there. Comparing that to the 360 bar spin to X up from Garrett Meacham. 3-part combo for Meacham, playing his cards smart.
And then a bar-to-bar backflip. So you see as the heats are going on, Garrett's stepping up. You see his hand slip a little bit there. Almost had to eject out of that one. A little second grab on that handlebar for Garrett.
You know what Rojo's doing? He's following in the footsteps of riders like Jakob Wenzel and Greg Watts. Those 3-part combos score so high. You see higher scores there on jump 1 and 2 for Garrett Meacham. He will be the winner of this matchup, extending that lead to a differential of 0.6. Yeah, that's right.
He told me to do it. He's stoked.
Yeah, but
Rojo definitely flexing his muscle out here. This is a guy we may be talking about in the seasons to come as a guy who could threaten that king of Crankworx throne here. Very, very strong in a number of different disciplines. Not dissimilar to a guy like Thomas Lemoyne, who is leading the King of Crankworx overall title right now. He's #2 qualifier in today's event. He's going up against #3 qualifier, Anthony Mizzeri, 2 riders who've definitely competed against each other a ton in the past.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight matchup on speed and style, so I'm looking real forward to this one. Gate down. Both riders looking pretty clean, bringing it into the first jump. Let's see what they're going to bring out. Bar-to-bar backflip out of Lemoyne.
Very similar. Lemoyne's just powerful through these through the technical sections, but he's carrying a lot of speed.
Dirt wave and into the final jump.
360
oh, there we go.
Back to X and a front
3 bar to X, so getting those points racked up on those multiple trick combos. 4 tricks in one jump is going to add up to a nice time deduction for Lemoyne.
You have to go here.
He's so sneaky.
Look at him, what a veteran. You got to go on this side. I know how this works. I've won the first 2 events this season.
Oh, he takes it with quite a differential there. 0.86.
I mean, just a mirror image here on jump number 1. It looked like side-by-side backflip double bar spins.
I wonder if they knew they were going to do that.
Synchronized swimming. Then take a look here, 360 bar, bar, X up. I mean,
and sprinting out of the jump as well.
The front flip no-hander was so perfect, but sometimes you count the amount of tricks that made up that variation, and such a smart way to do it in speed and style is get a 3-part combo in there, score so high.
Yeah.
A 4-part combo, you know, 3 variations in a rotation.
He's going against has a super deep bag of tricks like Tony, and able to squeeze in not just a
So Nikolai, talk to me about how finicky the speeds can be for front flips and how hard it is to put it into the context of the speed and style run.
A front flip is just so technical for speed, especially in this discipline. We saw Mike Ross almost miss the entire landing on a double backflip, and a front flip, you're throwing yourself forward off the lip. And these racers are coming into the jump basically as fast as they physically can and trying to adjust the speed right before the end. And look, Anthony gets this front flip absolutely perfect. The execution couldn't be better, and that's just very, very impressive work by Anthony to be that calculated and have that feeling to get the distance perfect with the front flip mid-race. So hats off to Tony, and let's see if it's enough to beat the mighty Thomas Lemoyne.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks so much, Nikolai. Yeah, a veteran like Anthony Missouri, he knows when to pop off the lip. You see him snapping so late, which is going to put him up instead of out. And that's what it's enabling him to take so much speed into the jump, but yet still land very high up on the landing. A look at where we sit right now, Alan.
Yeah, we're looking good. We got a couple of winners on key already, but you know, we're not done. It's gonna look, I don't think anybody's really out of it yet, you know, and getting this far down into the matchups, everyone seems like a final. Anybody can win, anybody can take it. Less than a second separates each rider. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, Garrett Meacham with the advantage over Luke Parker. In heat number 1, Thomas Lemoyne carrying that momentum from the rest of the season has the advantage over Anthony Missouri, but like you say, less than a second differential in both of those matchups. So still anybody's game. Anything can happen in speed and style. That's why we're always sitting on the edge of our seat. And right now, we've got a great matchup here. Harriet Burbage-Smith against Jordy Scott. Has with the advantage right now. Will we see some flips here?
Yeah, she's been nailing those flips on this first jump all day long. Let's see if she pulls another one out of the hat. Yep, perfect rotation. Tuck no hander out of Jordy. Straight back on the pedals, though. She's going for speed on this run.
Yeah, Harriet's got the flips so on lock, but Jordy's really pulling away at the moment.
Really opening up a gap.
And this is where she's going to get a little boost of time. Big toboggan and goes all the way to flat. You can hear that landing on camera.
Also 1.3 seconds.
So she's probably going to be penalized.
So Jordy crossing the finish line first, but you know what? That flip is really going to pay off on jump number 1 for Haz. She scores 20 points more than Jordy up there, the 100 versus the 80. What will the scores be for jump number 2? A little bit of improvisation there with the variations.
With the score of 185.
You hear Jordy comment too fast.
Looks like Haz, Harriet Burbage-Smith.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Jordy Scott is not going to get her 5th speed and style win today. She will be.
The backflips have been paying dividends so far.
Flip it, Haz. Flip it. Then you win for sure.
I like the logic. I like the logic from Nikolai there. Football jumps, you're going to win for sure. But Haz doing just what she needs to do to be able to make it through. She'll make it into the gold medal matchup, sending Jordy Scott to the bronze medal matchup, which means there's still an opportunity to take away some hardware and some very valuable points for that overall title. Jordy Scott would love to be the 2022 Queen of Crankworx. Of course, we have a bunch more events left on the schedule here in Cairns, and we also have Crankworx Rotorua coming up next month. So the story continues, and all these riders looking back at every opportunity to win points throughout the long season going, should have done this, should have done that. So many questions about how in the world Caroline has made it back and healthy for this event. We caught up with her to ask some of those questions a bit earlier. Here's what she had to say.
Initially, the start of the week is a little bit of the logistics around really bike setup and having the best equipment possible. And then from there, the expectations versus reality, it doesn't always work out. My last round that I had in speed and style in Whistler, #1 qualifier and crashed out in the first round and didn't finish. So that's really how it goes in Crankworx and how it goes in racing. I think you've got to be prepared and ultimately really fresh for the end of the week, because that is when things like Whistler for me, it's when the accidents happen. You've been 5 days on the bike in a row doing multiple different disciplines, and you've got to have that final piece of energy at the end and focus. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into a week at Crankworx to get multiple podiums and ideally be in the run for a Queen of Crankworx title. So I'm really proud that how crazy the year's been so far already to be sitting in that 3rd spot and still in contention with 2 rounds to go.
Well, it all comes down to moments like this when you find yourself at the top of the Speed and Style Cairns course up against the reigning Queen of Crankworx, Via Verbeek. This is going to be a great matchup here. The question is, will Caroline dig deep into that bag of tricks? She's a quarter of a second coming into run #2 here.
Yeah, it's definitely not a gimme, and this would be a great time for her to prepare herself for future runs. She does have a little bit of a lead right now. Gets that double tuck no-hander off again.
Yeah, they're pretty neck and neck through the speed section here. You see Vaya just ollieing onto that flat table. And she's actually pulling away now.
Yeah, Vaya got a nice gap there. Big, clean tuck no-hander. And then Caro getting that combo tuck no-hander to toboggan. Let's see where it shapes up. Vaya with a nice time advantage.
Yeah, she was, in the second half of the course, she was quick. We'll see how these points add up. It's a slight advantage to Caroline on the first jump.
Yeah, you can see there are different lines coming through the rhythm there, where Vaya kind of took the option to jump a little more through it, and Caro was pumping to try to get some more speed. That could have something to do with bike choice. You know, Caro's bike has no rear suspension and Vaya's does, so both riders having to get their bikes down the track the best way they can.
Here is a case of Caroline Buchanan thinking, all right, I'm behind. I had a quarter second back from run #1. I can't just do a tuck no-hander. She'll get a little bit more, a little bit higher score for the tuck no-hander to toboggan. Toboggan, of course, putting that hand on the seat, making that a 2-part combo variation. Here we go. This is what it all comes down to.
There we go, 0.4 of a
Via
second.
Verbeek advancing by just 0.29.
She was able to make up the differential and advance. So that means Via Verbeek
Caroline
is going
Buchanan
into the final, sending
will link up
Caroline
with
Buchanan to face
Harriet Burbage, or sorry, with Jordy Scott for that bronze medal matchup. And Via will be going up against Haz for a chance at a gold medal.
Yeah, some really awesome medal rounds right in front of us. You know Caro's going to want a medal. It'll be interesting to see if she steps it up, but she's riding super, super good and flawless right now. Via just had a little bit too much speed on that second half of the course.
Yeah, it's amazing how it swung around because, yeah, Caroline was leading that first one. And then Via, you know, came back from behind and performed under pressure.
So, Via, congrats on making it into the gold medal matchup right here. What's the strategy going to be going up against Haz?
Oh, honestly, I'm just stoked to be out in finals with Haz. It'll be a good time. She puts on a good show. I have to go for the speed here. But yeah, just trying to be consistent. I'm having a good time. So I definitely want to work on my extensions. They're not on par with what I want. So I'll try and do better next time.
You're doing a good job making sure that you get those tricks off. But you talk about having a good time. I got a little bit of news for you. You have the fastest time of the day after that last run right there.
Sick. That's so fun. That last run on that left side, that shark fin gap is just so much fun. It's way easier to stay low and obviously pick up way more pace versus on the right side. I I've only figured that out today, so I have to maybe figure it out even more on the final run.
Yeah, yep, it's going to get harder as we go. Congrats on greasing it out there, and you're going to be going up against Haz in the gold medal matchup. We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you. Stoked.
So that's awesome to see.
Interesting what you were saying there about that left side being quicker coming off the shark fin.
Yeah, you can see that's where she really gained a lot of speed and where she's able to carry that momentum all the way down to the finish line.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you're going to really have to be finding some speed out there if you're going up against a flipper.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of speed needed to take over those points. I don't know, she was talking about her extension. There's opportunity to maybe get a little bit higher score on the tricks that Vi is comfortable with. Like, you know, that's the beauty of speed and style. It's never over. It's never anyone's guarantee.
Such a gamble, too, on those, you know, those hand and feet variations. With the rotations, you're committed. You come off the lip and you're doing it.
Yeah.
But with those hand ones, if you're a little bit off kilter and you don't get the hands off and you're getting time added to your run. So a roll of the dice in a different way. All right, 0.6 separating the leader of this matchup here, Garrett Meacham, and Luke Parker. Anybody's game here again.
Luke Parker with a bar spin flip on that first set. Looking super clean. Keeping Garrett honest, it's not a gimme.
Garrett's just pulling ahead, and you can see some roost go into that wall there.
Oh, look at this shot.
Yeah, Luke Parker got a little late on that turn. Both riders completing their tricks flawless to the finish line.
Big time advantage for Garrett there.
Nikolai was right about that. Luke Parker is just bolts with that double tail whip. It's been serving him well here. But Garrett Meacham just on fire. Tough to be out here with these multiple trick combos and just a really fast pace.
Getting his first lap on the track.
Yeah, it's interesting as the speeds are getting higher, I'm noticing the track's drying out a little bit. There's a little bit more dirt flying from some of those rear tires.
Yeah, it's breaking.
Unfortunately, Parker got a little bit loose on that last turn and almost went off track and missed a gate. He was able to get it back on and still get that double whip off, which was impressive, but conditions could be playing a role here.
Yeah, it's definitely breaking up the surface on that bank. You can see the roost. It's a bit softer than it was earlier.
Well, Garrett Meacham delivering on that unspoken promise you make when you're the #1 qualifier. He secures a spot for himself in the gold medal matchup. Our question right now, we're going to be able to answer shortly, is who will meet Garrett Meacham in that matchup? Will it be Thomas Lemoine? Will it be Anthony Mazzeri? We are about to find out. Lemoine with the advantage of 0.86, a strong advantage, but like we mentioned earlier, anything under a second is still anybody's game.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over, and like we saw in the girls, you know, it swung the other way in the run too, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
All right, let's see who advances to this gold medal matchup. Lemoine looking solid as always, coming into the first set. Both riders getting it very clean. Oh, Mazzeri over jumps and was not able to make the turn. So a bit of a gimme for Lemoine.
And Lemoine has to know the crowd definitely indicated there was a fall behind him. Still getting the double truck, taking a nice little practice for the matchup he'll be up against next, which is the gold medal matchup.
Oh, Anthony's all right, but he went straight into that, put his body into that berm.
Yeah, he landed so low on that first jump. He got his hands, big old boost.
Boost for the crowd there from Anthony Mazzeri.
He got his hands back on from that flip bar spin and straight locked up the brakes into the turn and was not able to get around it.
Yeah, his front wheel just blew straight off the start of that berm.
Yeah, I don't think he hit much of the landing. He went really far, and that just shows the technicality of this category. Having speed matched with tricks, it's just a fine line whether or not you're over jumping and blowing turns.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Anthony Mazzeri's not done for the day. He'll still have an opportunity to grab a bronze medal. He'll go up against Luke Parker in the small final. Here's a look back at that front tire over the berm. Nikolai, you've been there. I've seen a shot at you going over a speed and style berm just like that.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I rode speed and style ages ago. I don't remember that.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a reason you don't remember it.
I was kind of rooting for Anthony there. I love Thomas, he's my boy, but he's such a beast in this discipline that it's always good to see someone that might take him down, and Anthony was looking good out there. So it's a bummer to see him go down. Hopefully he can go get himself a bronze medal, and yeah, Thomas goes to the final again, huh?
Great, I can't wait to see both of these matchups here, the bronze medal matchup It's going to be Luke Parker and Anthony Mazzeri. Gold medal matchup will be Garrett Meacham and Thomas Lemoyne. That collision course we talked about at the top of the show, it has happened. Number 1 and 2 qualifier, both the last men standing with a chance to take top honors out here at Speed and Style Cairns.
There's Geordie just waiting for a partner to get up there.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from the camera, but it's quite humid out here, and it's a lot of work getting up and down this track all day long, and it's late in the day, and some of these riders have done downhill already, so you know, fatigue is going to be playing going to be coming into play for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Geordie was doing downhill seating, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Many of them, pretty much all of the quarterfinals on the women's side were all in downhill.
That's what we have right there. Gold medal matchup, number 1 and 2 qualifiers, Meacham and Lemoyne, then Luke Parker and Anthony Mazzeri.
Those are some good matchups. Both of those are going to be really exciting.
Anthony, it's so great to see you out here at Speed and Style. It's a discipline that just seems really right up your alley. What was the decision-making process to join us down here in Cairns?
You know, did Whistler and ended up doing decently well. Got knocked out by Lemoyne, who ended up winning the event, so figured I'd come back and try and do better. Yeah.
You got an opportunity to grab a bronze medal still. You made it this far. That means the story's not over yet. How are you after that crash?
Good, yeah. Just trying to keep up Lemoyne, going pretty fast into that first jump. Ended up going a little bit deep and just landed right before the corner, kind of far right off the top with my front tire. So a little bit slower, land higher up, and then don't make that mistake.
You look really good. You look like a gladiator. I feel like there's some start gate intimidation tactics if you don't wipe the dirt off your face. So keep it like that, and best of luck going into that bronze medal matchup, Anthony.
Thank you, Cam.
Right on. Good stuff there from Anthony Mazzeri. It's just so cool to have him back in the scene. He was such a showstopper in slopestyle, such a great bike handler. If you don't already follow him on Instagram, he's one of those riders that comes out with a few big old viral pieces of content every year, and it's usually just something that combines the elements that pay off here in Speed and Style. You know, there was one that I saw got picked up by ESPN. It was like a fakie lander all the way into a flip whip step down. It's just such a creative rider, and cool to see him make it into the bronze medal matchup.
Yeah, definitely glad to have him back out here. You can see Remy making sure the course is tip top before we get these medal matches going.
So Geordie Scott on screen right now with some last minute preparations for her next matchup going up against Caroline Buchanan. They will fight it out for a bronze medal. Via Verbeek will see if she has the speed to kind of balance the scales going up against the backflips of Harriet Burbage Smith. Gold medal on the line for that matchup. I like the stories we have here.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, this shows you, look at qualifiers 1 and 2 are only in the bronze medal matchup, and we got 4 and 3 in the gold medal. It's never a gimme in Speed and Style, not for anybody. I love this shot. Look at this compound.
The amount of dirt out there is insane.
I feel like I'm in a video game. It's such a special place out here.
Well, Haz making it into the gold medal matchup. Let's start with this piece. We had an opportunity to catch up with her earlier.
I think usually if I'm riding well, I find the flow and I just like hold on to that. And then it's just like the little remembering little things, like certain courses I know that I want to go up a gear. So making sure I've got that right gear for the gate start and that kind of little things like that. But yeah, like if I'm riding well and I'm enjoying the course, I slip into that sort of flow and enjoy it from there, and yeah, don't really have to think about it too much.
I think it's working. She's in the flow now, isn't she, Charlie?
Yeah, getting in the flow state, and those, like, you can tell with the backies, like she's just got them on locks, like she's not even thinking, they're just automatic. And I guess they need to be too.
It's cool hearing that perspective. Isn't that just the way things go? There's so many decisions that lead up to being at the point where all those steps can be kind of autopilot now. You know, she's got it dialed to where, you know, it's super tough to be able to do what she's doing, but she's taken those steps to be there, and now she just kind of goes through the motions. She's in the gold medal matchup.
Yeah, but here we have the bronze medal matchup.
So Jordy Scott going up against Caroline Buchanan, run number 1 in this bronze medal matchup.
Gate comes out. You see that BMX background out of Caroline, keeping it real tight on that gate there. Big double tuck no hander. She gets it off, and Jordy coming off that first jump straight on the pedals.
Oh, they're neck and neck, but she just got a little caught up on the tabletop there.
Let's see if Carol can take this extra momentum coming into the finish line.
Oh, so close. You know Caroline wanted more to that variation. Cutting it close there, .118.
They almost collided just at the finish there as well.
Looks like she's got a slight advantage, 10-point advantage.
Did she get that double, that combo? It looks like she didn't quite get it that time.
I think she got the tuck no hander, but I don't think she got anything after it. So it's going to probably stay quite tight here.
On the speed and the tricks there.
Yeah,
just over half a second.
I love it when those times get that close and you just got to go right back to the tricks and like, okay, who did what? Where was that? How clean was it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It makes it so exciting.
So, yeah, she did get the double on the first jump.
Yeah.
So she's changed up her strategy a little bit, doing the double tuck no on the first jump, and looked like maybe was going for a tuck no to toboggan.
Oh, she did not get the second part of that variation there, Caroline, but then Jordy making it happen with the toboggan to ET, squeezing things in before the tires touch the ground, trying to milk that opportunity to shave time through scoring points.
I could be wrong, but it looks like maybe some wind blew Caroline there on that last jump. There's a lot of hang time on that jump, and the wind could play into that. It looked like maybe she got blown a little bit off to the side and had to kind of back out of that combo move.
Yeah, there's definitely wind involved with that one. You could see for sure, huh? Yeah, we got a good vibe going on here at the venue. Crankworx Cairns, the VIP lounge is going off. Best seat in the house. Situated right at the bottom of the speed and style course, pointed right up the belly. You can see every bit of action top to bottom. The VIP is the spot to be. They got food, they got drinks, they got a great view. It's really fun to bring Crankworx to a new venue, isn't it? I mean, crazy stuff happens. We all get to travel the world and experience a new location, but we always see new riders emerge, just kind of capitalize on the opportunity that there's Crankworx in their local town.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people get their first taste of Crankworx a lot of times when it comes to their home country, and it really sets them off on their path and gets them rolling.
Yeah, and a lot of really big riders now have come from Crankworx in their local area, like Finn Isles, Jackson Goldstone, Jenna Hastings from New Zealand. She was a standout last year. So it is cool. It's that stepping stone, to the international circuit.
All right, Nicola, I got a question for you. We got Garrett Meacham and Thomas Lemoyne going up against each other in the gold medal matchup. 1 and 2 qualifiers. We've seen them and their trick choices. Do you think we're going to see any variations, any amplifications to those tricks here when it all is on the line?
Oh, Cam, I really, really hope so. Like I said, Lemoyne is my boy, but I'm rooting for Garrett Meacham. He is on fire right now in Cairns, and I was riding with him just last week, and I know he's got some heater maneuvers that he can bring out to really push Lemoyne to the limit. I know Rojo's gonna have to put everything he has to win this race, and I really hope he's in that mindset. So he's got the tricks. Let's see if he pulls them out, and let's see if he can land them. Let's go, Garrett.
I love it. It's kind of a David and Goliath moment right here. Lemoyne has been unstoppable in speed and style. Garrett Meacham is, he's looking for those results and to get on the level of somebody who's battling it out for King of Crankworx. You got to think about this too. Lemoyne's still got slopestyle. Garrett Meacham can really just let it all hang out in this gold medal matchup. But before we get there, it's all about this bronze medal matchup right now between Luke Parker and Anthony Mazzeri.
Both riders coming out clean. Both have very deep bags of tricks. Let's see what we got. Mazzeri with the bar spin flip. Didn't quite catch what Luke had, but both riders looking really smooth coming down to the rhythm.
Oh, they're hooking for those turns there and off the rocks, up onto the bank. The track's still holding up pretty well.
Oh, the same choices for both riders there through the line. The front flip tuck no hander for Anthony Mazzeri. Got that visor nicely snapped back on that Fox helmet. It's always nice when you can just snap it right back on. And Luke Parker sticking to the game plan with that double tail whip, clean to pedals. Tight gap in time.
Yeah, really close there, so it's not over yet for the bronze medal. I mean, it's going to come down to it. Looking at what's been happening, you know, just throwing in an extra combo or maybe switching to a little bit more difficult trick can make the difference no matter what the time split is.
That front flip's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, so much amplitude. I mean, that's what Anthony Mazzeri is known for, is just going really high above that lip. Definitely pays off here. Like we say, those tricks have a set baseline score, but if you have an increased level of execution, you can always pad it with an extra point or two, and Anthony's definitely been launching those front flip no-handers. There we go. We've been talking about this one. This is going to be cool to see what happens when Via Verbeek on the right side of your screen leans heavy on her strengths, which is speed. And Harriet Burbage-Smith knows that she's got to be flipping if she wants this gold medal.
Yeah, Harriet's found the flow out here. She's having a great time. She's nailing those backflips every time, but we did see Via come out with a new line in the rhythm section, so let's see how this all shapes up. There goes Harriet with a dialed backflip, probably the smoothest one yet.
Yeah, her backflips are just getting better and better, but she's just slightly behind coming through this technical section here.
Yeah, that was where Via has that advantage. She's got a line through there. She got a little sketchy, but was able to pull it off. Gets a suicide no-hander. Harriet gets a tuck no-hander to table. It's going to be tight.
Big time advantage to Via.
So yeah, crossing the line 1.3 seconds faster is Via Verbeek. She will own that time win, but those 100 points scored on that top jump is going to help. Via playing nice defense with 80 points on that first jump.
The 100 for has.
It's going to be hard to make back that time advantage, I think.
Watch this acceleration Via gets from here out of this turn down to the next one.
Yeah.
Right through here, she's got some magic where she's gaining 4 or 5 bike lengths on her competitors.
She was saying that left side, she's figured out how to do the shark fin and get way more speed, and it's paying off. She had such an advantage in the bottom half of the course.
It's a good thing she didn't tell us exactly what she was doing to find more speed out there, considering that information would have been broadcasted through gigantic speakers. So Via,
I will always stand corrected.
leading the charge here.
So she's cut down that deficit, but it's still almost a second.
Race directors.
Absolutely. Nothing we say is official, that is for sure. Via's sending you a heart, so it's just, she wants you to give the right call.
You too.
Got some great camaraderie between these riders, both capable of taking this gold medal today. Both are going to have to lay it down, and I think they know it, so this is going to be exciting.
Wow. This is what it's all about right here. If you're a young rider like Garrett Meacham going up against a guy who is pretty darn accomplished. Take a look at this list of accolades, a whole lot of wins when it comes to speed and style. This is the guy to beat. There's no other way around it.
This year has been unbeatable in speed and style, in both Innsbruck and Whistler.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely the type of discipline that plays right into all of Lemoyne's strengths.
Yeah, he's going for the hat trick.
But he's going to have to get through Meacham, who's on fire. He's got some special mojo going here in Cairns. Let's see if he can get his second gold medal tonight. That UCI BMX cadence on the random start. 8 down. Lemoyne maybe a slight advantage on that first pedal, but Garrett's sending it hard right now. Both riders getting their first tricks laid out.
Oh,
here they come.
Just ahead.
Lemoyne's on the possibly slightly faster track coming into this final.
Oh,
Garrett! We got a cork 7 out of Garrett.
That's what Nikolai was talking about, and look at that. Garrett stomping the cork 720 with the pressure of a gold medal on the line.
So Lemoyne kept it consistent with the 360 truck.
Look at that, he scored 140 points for that cork 7.
I don't know if that's going to be enough to get back that 0.6 deficit though.
I think you're right, Charlie. Let's settle the excitement about seeing a new trick and be realistic, right?
Yeah, let's also keep in mind that Lemoyne was doing some big tricks there too.
Okay, let's see what the combo was.
Bar to bar truck.
Oh, that was impressive, that cork 7.
Yeah, it was huge.
The amplitude was good.
Boom. And perfect.
Corky! Yes! Let's go! Let's go, Rojo! That's what I like to see, baby!
Oh, yes!
Yes!
Let's go, Rojo. Hey, you told us to look out, Nikolai.
Oh, yes. Garrett pulling through with exactly the maneuver I wanted to see him do. A cork 7 on the last jump, absolutely laced, knowing he's got to risk it all. Oh my goodness, it's not enough.
You know what? He was able to trim that down to a half second, though. You know, it all plays into this next run.
Mikey, how much is that differential?
0.5. Tell him a half a second.
It ain't
Okay.
over. He knows he's going into that faster course. He knows he's got a bag of tricks that he can pull out, so he's got his eye on the prize.
I mean, one little slide out from Lemoyne, and you only got a half second to make up. That's going to be exciting. But this is exciting right here. This will determine who's walking away with the valuable points and the bronze medal. Caroline Buchanan, 0.6 ahead of Jordy Scott.
Yeah, Caroline looking to make the upset, the number 2. Qualify against the number 1. She's got a slight advantage coming in. But here comes Jordy in that speed.
Jordy's right there. She's actually overtaken her again.
Oh, this is going to be good.
On the wall now.
Caroline a little late on those last turns. Let's see what trick. Gets a clean tuck no-hander.
Tire grab for Jordy. She crosses the finish line first. Caroline scoring 90 points up top. Jordy scoring 80 points up top. So Caroline chiseling away at that differential.
I can't call it. It's going to be very, very tight.
That's it. We're going to have to wait for the math to be done. The judges getting their scores in for jump number 2 as we take a look back.
So Caroline was ahead, and then just after this jump, she lost some speed, and Jordy came past.
What did Jordy do? Can we try to figure this out?
Just right here off the shark fin, I think.
It's nice having the inside on that rider's left course.
It looks like the black side, the left side, is just a little bit quicker.
Correct.
I couldn't tell if she was going for a tire grab and missed. I'm not totally sure. Nikolai, you know how they would score that?
Nikolai, what do you think? Are they going to score that as a tire grab or as a one-hander?
I think that's more of a one-hand. I mean, it's about execution here, so if the extension doesn't get held, then the judge is going to consider that.
So true, look at that, it only scored a 20.
You can see it right there, low score, but she was fast out there.
There we go, Caroline Buchanan grabs that
Nice work,
bronze
Caroline.
medal.
Awesome.
Wow, all she's been through the past month, and it all pays off. Going home with some hardware.
I'm sure she had gold in her mind, but I think that bronze medal is going to make that effort that she had to put in to get here and get out here to be able to ride with her fellow competitors in her home country totally worth it. Yeah, it looked like Jordy just missed that tire grab, and then when we got that one-hander score, not quite enough to make up that 0.6 differential that Caroline had going into that round.
So Caroline, congratulations on grabbing the bronze medal out here at Speed and Style Cairns. What's the last month been like? Crazy road to get to this point, hasn't it been?
Yeah, crazy road over rotated a front flip on one of the biggest, gnarliest crashes of my life. Only just under 4 weeks ago. So yeah, my last 3 weeks have just been like straight up rehab for some torn ligaments and AC joint in my shoulder, and I didn't know until a few days ago that I was going to be here. And the fact that, you know, I'm here, and for the difference for that was gapping a line I've never done in the final, and I just went for it, and that was it. So stoked.
Well, great performance. I mean, we are here in Australia, home turf for you. What's it like being in Australia? Do you have your family here cheering you on?
It's unbelievable. I've got my parents here. I've got the parents of my boyfriend who allow me to have an amazing facility in my backyard. So yeah, the fact that I've got airbags and everything to prepare for events like this, and they can be here to celebrate. So it's pretty important.
Well, congratulations, Caroline. And crowd, come on, let's hear it for, way to go, Caroline Buchanan. You gotta love it. On home turf, grabbing some hardware. We're about to find out who's going to win this thing as well.
Oh, it's so cool to see her come back from that crash and injury to, you know, be on the podium. It's
I mean,
really
when you
impressive.
hit the ground that hard, you think, ooh, what's coming up next?
Next up, the men's small final.
Yeah, it's interesting how sometimes
if I'm
coming away
reading
from
the
those
screen
situations
correctly.
and being able to bounce back as fast as she has, it's like a boost of confidence. Like, yeah, I can take a big slam. I can send it and see where I can take this next trick or that next event.
That's pretty cool. She's got airbags in her backyard.
Yeah, yeah, she's got all the amenities.
Yeah.
Very focused on this sport of mountain biking for sure.
So the bronze medal matchup loading into the gate for the men here. Anthony Missouri on the left side of your screen. Luke Parker on the right side of your screen. Let's take a look back at Luke's path to make it to this point. It's no easy task finding yourself into this bronze medal matchup. He had to get through guys like Bas van Steenberg, and we saw him slip a pedal on a double whip in the early rounds because of that side wind, but he's unshakable. He continues to go for that double tail from the bottom of the course. And you know, each matchup leads to a more difficult matchup. Here's how he found himself in the bronze medal matchup.
Yeah, never a bad thing to get beat by the #1 qualifier, but it's not over yet. Like you said, it's the bronze medal matchup, and a medal's a medal.
It is nice when you get eliminated by somebody. It's the fastest guy. But the story is not over for these two riders. Anthony Missouri leading the charge right now by 0.4 over Luke Parker. The gate is about to drop.
Yeah, and if you put 0.4 in the terms of tricks, it's not out of reach by any means. Let's see what he's got. So Parker looked like maybe he wanted more, but got a clean bar spin flip coming up side by side with Anthony right now.
It looks like Luke's just pulling ahead.
Keeping it tight on that slightly slower red line.
It's all going to come down in this last jump. Sticks with that double tail whip.
Wow, Anthony fumbled the handlebar, got his hand on right the last second.
We can't call it now. It's in the hand of the judges.
So we got 0.25 back on the time.
They have the same score on the first jump.
Okay, it's really going to come down to this last jump.
Close.
If you think about it, Anthony had the advantage going into the second matchup here in this Heat 2, the bronze medal matchup. So Nikolai, did you notice there? We're going to get a look back at this last jump here. Watch, great extension on that front flip took no hander. He almost missed the right hand though, didn't he?
Yeah, Anthony had a little bit of a sketchy moment there, missing the hand. It's crazy in this discipline doing these tricks over and over again. To the viewers, it might seem like it gets easier, but these tricks get in your head, especially at this speed, and it just, you try to think it's second nature, and it's really easy to miss the hand because these tricks are very technical, especially when you're doing them so many times in such a short period of time. So good on Anthony for saving that one. Impressive stuff.
It's true. It just gets exponentially more difficult to perform. You think about, you know, compared to like playing darts, you know, okay, cool, you hit a bullseye. Well, hit another one, and then another one, and then another one.
And go faster.
Yeah.
Coming in and bronze medal.
Yes, Anthony! Anthony Missouri grabs the bronze medal. Great performance. Always love to see Anthony Missouri at a Crankworx Festival, and through speed and style, he's back on the box.
Oh, those big front flips are paying off.
Yeah, just squeezing it out with a 0.2 advantage there in the end. Super good showing from both riders.
So Anthony, I mean, you are no stranger to a Crankworx podium, but I feel like it's been a while. What's it like to be able to stand on that thing here with this bronze medal in speed and style?
Oh, it feels surreal. It's been, I don't even know how many years, several years since Crankworx podium, so it feels amazing to be here. First Crankworx Cairns, Australia, first time here for me. Stoked.
Good stuff. Congratulations. Are we going to be able to see you back in speed and style in Rotorua? Have you made any travel plans yet?
Nothing for sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, we always love having you here. Congratulations. Soak it up.
Thank you.
Good stuff from Anthony Missouri. Wow. Congratulations to him grabbing that bronze medal. And now we got more fun for you. We got a gold medal matchup for the women coming up next. So our first of two gold medal matchups here at Speed and Style Cairns. Via Verbeek on the left side of your screen going up against Harriet Burbage-Smith, who has been using that backflip on jump number one to just knock competitor after competitor out of this competition. Let's take a look back at how we find ourselves here in run number 2 of this gold medal matchup.
Yeah, Haz with a perfect backflip there. You said she was feeling the flow, but you see Vaya coming through that section. She's got that shark fin dialed, tons of speed. She's going to be on the other lane now, and she had mentioned that she hadn't done that move on the other lane yet, so it'd be interesting to see if she pulls that up, because she was making speed work for her in round 1, wasn't she, Charlie?
Yeah, definitely, and I wonder if Harriet will have a speed advantage in this one, being on that left-hand side, but I mean, Vaya's been looking so fast, so it's going to be, it's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, being on the fast side and having the backflip right now, but back by 0.9.
It's a big deficit, isn't it?
Big deficit. Something like flipping the last jump really would play into her favor.
Well, she's got to know what's in front of her. Vaya with a solid start, going for speed again with a little bit of advantage. Here comes Haz with that smooth backflip.
Yeah.
Vaya
Nice.
getting a clean tuck no-hander, though.
Harriet's just ahead here, but has she got that shark fin line? Oh, it's pretty close.
Yeah, she's keeping her honest. Vaya found some speed on that other lane as well. Oh, Vaya with a straight air.
No way! Missing the suicide no-hander. Vaya, this could be a game changer. So we mentioned this at the top of the show. If you don't get a trick, time gets added on. So Harriet scoring 100 for the backflip up top. Vaya playing good defense with the no-hander and 80 points. But I'm looking forward to these replays to see what that last jump had there for Vaya Verbeek. We just saw it there, minus 30 points, which means they're going to put 0.3 of a second onto her time. She was quite a bit in the lead after run number 1. This is going to be tight.
She got the no-hander there, but I wonder if she got a gust of wind on that second jump or something.
Yeah, that's where they're most exposed to that crosswind. You're right. Let's see what happened. All eyes on the left side of your screen here. Vaya Verbeek. Nope. She knew it.
She even shook her head in the air.
Is
what
that
does that count for?
A shake head? Can that be like 0 points?
Yeah, a
Break
little bit nose heavy. She might have been coming into that jump faster than she had all day long.
Score's coming in on the big screen.
Here we go with the +3 added to it.
Oh,
Vaya still gets it by 0.3. Sorry,
No, Harriet.
look at that, Harriet. Yeah, I read that wrong. Harriet.
She pulls back 0.9.
Wow.
That's amazing. The backflip is unbeatable.
Yeah, it all came down to that last jump for Vaya, unfortunately. But Harriet, she said when she feels good, she finds that flow.
Yeah.
And where did that flow find her? On the top step of the podium tonight.
Exactly.
Ozzy, way to go. Listen to this crowd.
Oh, how
Getting
cool.
wild for Harriet Burbage-Smith winning the gold medal on home territory. I mean, 2 Aussies in the top 3 here for the women's category in speed and style cans. Gosh, we talked about it all day that if you miss a trick, it can really be the game changer. Vaya missing that suicide no-hander.
Fucking do it!
Oh, man. Nikolai knew it right there. Oh!
Yeah, she knew it too. You see her shaking her head in the air, coming across the line and almost instantly congratulating Harriet. But yeah, unfortunately, you know, you got to have both. It's not just either or.
Yeah.
So Haz, big moment right there. That backflip had been paying off for you all day, but really comes down to just no room for error. Talk to me about the side wind on that last jump, and for you, you're able to still get the tricks, you know, after a long day of racing and battling that wind.
Yeah, it was really sick. The last 2 speed and styles, my goal has been the flip and to get consistent with that. So once I ticked that off this morning, that was honestly, I was stoked for that. And then, yeah, the last jump was sweet. I wasn't really feeling the wind. And the tuck's really comfy in the wind, I feel. So it was really just like did the shark fin then for the first time in the rhythm straight, because I feel like I needed to be as close as possible for time. So that was cool.
Well, the game plan really paid off, and I'm going to ask you this question. I was just talking to Caroline on this headset, but I mean, on home turf here, the crowd was getting so loud for you in that last run. What's it like, this experience versus traveling the rest of the stops, you know, not on home turf?
It's interesting. It's nice. I haven't been back to Australia since I don't even know. So it's really sick to be back and stoked to ride in front of a home crowd and with all my mates. So yeah.
Well, congratulations, putting it down with all the pressure on. It's been a long day of racing, so I hope you can get some nice celebrations in tonight. Way to go, Haz.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Good stuff. I mean, all the scenarios that we talked about leading up to this final matchup pretty much played out by the end here for the women's category.
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear her say that she went for the shark fin line on that left-hand side, because that's what Vi was doing to get such a big advantage, and Harriet did it, and she won the race with it.
Yeah, without anything that she did, every pump and every millisecond she gained paid off in that one. And I don't know if she heard it in the interview, but you were talking about it, that Vi was talking about having that advantage, and she sent that in that gold medal matchup for the first time and was able to just squeak by. So listening to your competitors' interviews may pay off.
Right?
Definitely.
Well, let's see what that does to our Queen of Crankworx overall standings now after Speed and Style Cairns for the women. Faya reclaiming that top spot. She's got 5:16 to Jordy's 4:93. Jordy moved down into second place. She was leading before this event, and we're going to continue to see this leaderboard shuffle as we progress through the week here at stop number 3 of the World Tour here in Cairns. So way to go, Vi. May not have grabbed that gold medal here due to that mistake there in the final run, but enough points from those silver medal points. So we got a heater in the gate right now. Let's refresh our memories. Run number 1 for the gold medal matchup in the men's.
Yeah, Garrett maybe come in a little bit of the underdog, but he's also the fastest qualifier. And then look at that huge cork 7, which he had not done all day in the competition. Was able to stay as close as possible to Lemoyne.
He got it perfect, and he had such good pop on it, but he just didn't quite have enough speed to, to be equal to Lemoyne on that one.
So Garrett Meacham on possibly a little bit faster course, but with a deficit of 0.5. So it's not going to be easy. He's going to need to step up some tricks, maybe on both jumps. So keep your eyes out.
I'm looking for that cork 7 again.
Yeah, Thomas Lemoyne versus Garrett Meacham. A half second to play with here for Lemoyne, but Garrett Meacham has been leaving it all out on the track. Oh, a little bit of an over-rotation there for Meacham.
Yeah, a little bit of over-rotation there. He's able to get back on. He's on that faster lane, so let's see what he can do, bringing it home.
Pretty much neck and neck coming into the second jump here.
Oh, what's he going to do? Yes!
Oh, he goes huge on the cork 7. Straight back on the pedals. That had to have felt amazing.
He only just caught some training at the bottom of that landing there.
So Garrett crosses the finish line first by the blink of an eye. Lemoyne scoring just a couple points more than Garrett on jump number 1. But Meacham going long and stomped on that cork 720. This is too close to call until we've got the calculator out.
Yeah, the flip portion of that cork 7 was a little under-rotated and carried his distance quite a bit further. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm so glad he came around.
Yeah, he landed it clean, but it looked like it was going to be, could have gone wrong.
It's lucky that tire stayed on after that over-rotation on jump number 1. But look how deep Meacham goes on that cork 7. Straight to the pedals. All right, well, let's watch Lemoyne this time, because that's what it really comes down to. If you didn't win, how much defense did you play? It looked like a double truck to X, so a 4-part combo.
Again. It's clean, it's clean, it's clean! Yes! It's clean!
I know Nikolai is rooting for Garrett. He's definitely made that clear here. We've seen Lemoyne win the last 2 stops of Speed and Style this year's World Tour. Will the number 1 qualifier, Garrett Meacham, upset the Goliath here? What is it going to be? Oh, Lemoyne does it! Just squeaks in there, grabs his 3rd gold medal of the year in Speed and Style. Garrett Meacham taking that number 1 qualifier all the way to a silver medal. What a hard-fought battle.
Showing why he is the major team of Speed and Style. Thomas Lemoyne, another back-to-back victory, unseating the number 1 seed. But let's put your hands together for Little Rojo, Garrett Meacham, stepping up the game, throwing down from the best, and taking home the silver in the inaugural Crankworx Cairns Speed and Style.
Yeah, Toad. Look at that moment. I mean, it was too close for anybody to call. We had no clue. The fans had no clue. And you see Lemoyne and Garrett sitting there going, I don't know. anybody's game. So, Lemoyne, first things first, congratulations on taking the win here today. But, I mean, if we look at the stats, man, you won all the speed and styles on the 2022 Crankworx World Tour. What was harder about this one? I know you've been not on the bike as much as normal coming into this event.
Yeah, I think that's just that, actually. The only bike I rode before coming here was my free-ride bike for a bit, the last few days before leaving here. And I rode my bike, my DJ bike here for the first time again. It felt way better than the contest before I couldn't ride, so I was just like trying to be positive and just enjoy the thing. I know what to do, so I just tried my best. It worked. I'm stoked for that. I got more this week, so I'm trying to stay focused, but everything that happened is just a bonus here, you know. I'm just happy to be here, and the course was so sick, so just riding my bike is insane.
I want to talk about something a little bit funny. It was at the beginning of the week in Innsbruck, and you just had such a great attitude about this year's season. You said, yeah, I'm not so worried about the points and this and that. I'm not even going to compete in pump track in Innsbruck. You're now extending your lead as the King of Crankworx. Is that the mindset to win King of Crankworx, is just take it one step at a time?
I think that's my mindset. It's for sure something that I think of right now, because after Whistler, I realized like many dreams in 1 week, and I'm like, okay, being King of Crankworx could be a next stick. We just see if it happens. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm just trying to do one by one, ride as best as I can everywhere, and we'll see what happens. I know I got good opponents in every other discipline, so I'll just do my best and we'll see.
One step at a time, and the next step is celebrating this win. Congratulations on that, and we look forward to watching you compete the rest of the week.
Thank you, man.
What do you make of that guy, Alan? I mean, so impressive, just the athletic diversity he has to be able to find himself at the top of this leaderboard.
Yeah, he's got his head on straight for sure. Like, obviously talking to him and you know, just you and I, but then on camera right there talking about how focused he is on having fun and just doing things one at a time and enjoying the process of coming to these events, because it's a long season and traveling with multiple bikes, it can wear on you if you put too much pressure, you know. So for a guy as talented and as skilled as Lemoyne, I think he's his biggest competitor, and he seems like he's got a lock on himself. He's got his head in the right spot, he's riding amazing, he's doing all the things.
Charlie, you come from enduro, and you're really successful in enduro. One of the hardest parts about that discipline is that you're racing so many different tracks in one event, and you got to really pace yourself and strategize. What do you think about these Crankworx competitors who are not only racing a bunch of different events, but they're different disciplines as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in awe. I think it's really impressive how they do it, and to be able to do tricks and race fast, and you know, he does pump track, dual slalom, and we saw him in slopestyle and Whistler. I'm really impressed. I think, yeah, what we do on different tracks, at least it's the same bike, the same discipline. These guys are changing bikes. They're, you know, changing what they're doing. They're changing if they're doing tricks or speed, and it's difficult, I think.
Mountain biking's cool. We got a lot of different stuff going on, and the Crankworx Festival brings them all together. Great way to kick off day one of broadcast here from stop number 3. We're so stoked to be in Cairns. We're so stoked you joined us. We got plenty more events coming up throughout the rest of the week. I've been your host, Cam McCall, alongside Alan Cook and Charlie Murray. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for Downhill.